Hey, thanks again for jumping on. And in a matter of minutes, let's talk about a proven and actionable process that you can apply to your practice right now. You know, we've talked so much about the things that are going on in the world and in the industry and all the noise and COVID and the markets and so forth, and how we are changing as an industry and indeed how society is changing. And I thought I'd just take a minute and talk about something that I think is really happening in Lightspeed. And some people are ready for it and caught up, and others aren't. Our Chief Marketing Officer, Mark Mersman, did a great white paper on 6 steps to becoming a virtual advisor. It's really fantastic. And you can get to it on usafinancial.com, go to the HQ dashboard, and then into the resources tab for COVID-19, and you're going to find it there. I think it's some things that everybody's talking about, but there are some real fundamentals in here that I think bear mention. And I'm going to add a little color and again, some of the coaching and consulting verbiage that we have around some of these issues. Mark really covers some great things in here. And, I think all of us are thinking about it. And the challenge is, how do we set up a home office and how to stay focused, covered in there, fantastic stuff. What about tools and video conferencing and how we're going to maximize productivity? Real challenges, especially those of you that have team now that are remote from you. You're used to being in the office and now you've got everybody at home and doing all these types of things. There's video conferencing guidelines, and certainly USA becomes a great resource for you there. But I'd encourage you to get out there and download this piece and read it. One of the things that I thought was amazing, and as I'm working, USA, we're doing the same thing, working with our teams remotely, is number 3, appearance and etiquette for video conferencing. Listen, I get that's a little bit casual right now, and people expect that. Your clients do, and I think it's appropriate. But we know some advisors that just think, now I'm working at home, can roll right out of bed, go have breakfast, and just jump right in front of the camera. Even forgot to brush my teeth. I think I was talking to my wife about that last night. That might have happened to me a time or two. Listen, if you forgot to brush your teeth, then you're showing up in front of the camera the wrong way. And so there really is some etiquette and some ideas here, and Mark covers that. And so really you want to pay attention. How to conduct virtual meetings. How to keep your teams and your clients engaged. It's all there. And listen, here's a little commentary for you. I've spent a lot of time working with advisors and a lot of time communicating with clients. Here's what I think is real. This situation that we find ourselves in now is going to go on for a little bit of time. And this is what I think is going to happen to much of the buying public. Listen, in-person meetings are coming back. Seminars and workshops and those things that we get together with the public, those are coming back. But I think that clients are learning now, some clients that never thought they would ever have to use a Zoom or any other kind of a virtual tool, a conferencing tool to get together. I think clients now are going to embrace that. And there are going to be times where they're like, hey, we don't really need to get together for every meeting. Maybe we could do that conference thing. So for those of you that aren't really embracing this of how to be a good virtual advisor, I think you're missing something that's going to be significant in the months to come. So get a hold of Mark's paper, download that, and read it. And here are a couple of other things, especially when it comes to teams. There are certain things that we need to keep in place. For a leadership team, we need to have daily meetings and daily communications. And we use Microsoft Teams. There are other platforms that you can use to connect with your teams. And you want to make sure that you set aside time every day, especially as a leadership group, to talk about what are the issues of the day. Weekly, you're probably, if you have teams at home, in the office, you're setting up time to get together with them in person. You need to do that same thing. Have a weekly schedule. Make sure that you're communicating agendas, especially now. We talk, the protocol division of USA, that we're in the office together, and we kind of pop out in the hallway and we're talking to each other about things that are going on, and we kind of know what's happening, and we still use agendas in meetings. How important is that now when you are all operating remote and you don't have those natural times to get together? So be cognizant of that. Make sure that you use those capabilities that you have to engage in communications, but don't overdo it. We'd recommend maybe dialing down the email communications a bit and making sure that you have scheduled. I myself, at the end of every day, Later in the day, I do a video conference. And what I tell my teams is some of the things we would have covered in emails, we're going to cover on the conference chat. And I want to cover the business things, and then I want to talk about some of the fun stuff. What's going on with families? What's something hysterical that you read online? All the things that you're doing with your teams when you're in person, right now is when you really need to continue to tie the team together. And so all of those pieces are in Mark's white paper. And again, you want to download that. Here's one last little comment that I'll make that we have found. It's interesting. Some people really take to working remotely very well. Others have a bit of a challenge with it. But what we have found as an organization at USA, and indeed in the protocol division, is everybody seems to be a little bit more focused. Maybe it's the times, maybe it's the issue around COVID and markets, and there's a need for us to really band together and make sure that we're serving you, our advisors. But the level of focus and commitment is palpable. And so I think as you put these actionable resources together and have these conversations with your team, there's just a different air there, and it's really positive. So again, you know that we can be a resource to you. Get out to USA Financial, HQ dashboard, COVID resources, find the white paper. It's a big deal. Thanks again for jumping on. Until we meet again, stay grateful and make the minutes matter.